So this path I'm running on right now is not just any old trail. This is the fully connected east side of the river. So right now, you don't need to stop at the Plymouth Avenue Bridge when you're going north. You can continue on, head under Broadway, and all the way up to the railroad track way up there.
What's up, fam? It's Space Pan with another video. So I got a little burnt out of national level politics because, let's be real, that shit's crazy. But we got some stuff going on at the local level. Jacob Frey is changing everything. He's got me out here running, out in my community.
Fully connected trails most definitely equal connected communities. And big thank you to the park board. It was great working together on this one. It's a beautiful spot to run.
And I got my friend, who will otherwise remain unnamed, Miss Vetus, another local Minneapolis person, to give their hot take on what's going down in our glorious city here. So let's get stuck into it, fam.
Hi bitch, 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 hi bitch.
Let's meet Jacob Frey.
Hey Cindy.
Did he just dox me?
With your government name, too.
Mother f***er.
How did he even figure you out? How did he even know you exist?
I mean, I sent him a friend request on Facebook when he got elected, but he still hasn't accepted it. Of course.
Motherfucker.
And there's nothing more in Minneapolis than flying across the Mississippi River on a zip line.
So he originally caught our attention quite a while back, and basically we've just been making fun of him and collecting videos of him, but we decided to really sit down and tell the world about him. He kind of first caught our attention because we realized he's basically like a bootleg Justin Trudeau for Minnesota.
Basically, almost exactly.
Almost exactly.
Their
I mean, way too
characteristics
charitable.
are strikingly similar.
It's pretty, they even look alike. Like, they look alike,
They
first
do.
of all. One thing we should get out of the way, he's not even from here.
He's not even from here. He's a lawyer that jogged his way over here, seemingly just to run for office.
I think he jogged the whole way. I think he ran out of places to jog.
He was a long-distance runner, so he ran the whole way. Maybe not jogged.
Maybe that is the long distance
True.
that they're referring to. Yeah, so there's an underlying theme that's really similar, which is the constant pandering, starting with what?
Virtue signaling, definitely.
Pandering and virtue signaling, just like Olympic tier virtue signaling is what we're looking at here. It's especially, like, you can see it in his profile pictures. We'll just go through those, just like one by one, and like it's like literally every single box you can imagine checking. It's like, here's a firefighter, and now he has a hairnet on for food, and here's your gay one, and here's you talking to an African child, and
If you didn't know, Minneapolis, the city where we live, is predominantly liberal, would you say?
oh yeah, without a doubt.
So if
Progressive liberal too.
Yeah, if he's going to pander to anyone, I mean, we met at college, which was a liberal indoctrination center completely, so keep that in mind.
Our university, though, was kind of like a sad, like, Me Too of the, before Me Too, back when that was a different term, like, it was kind of like this, like, sad imitation of, like, what the elite, like, liberal Ivy League schools are doing, like, when our, like, local college tries to, like, do the SJW thing, too, but, I don't know, for me, with a lot of them, it kind of felt phoned in. It kind of just felt like they were doing what the others do, because they were taught it's the right thing.
This is back in 2008, and we had HUSC, the student union, or student council, student government.
Yeah.
We had them trying to, like, censor the way we spoke. Like, we weren't allowed to say male man on campus. We had to say male person.
And they prefer first year to freshman.
Yes.
That's not just our college. That's like a thing.
Yes.
Just whatever.
But just to give you a general idea for the community here in Minneapolis, we're very much in the political minority.
You know what's funny though? Since you mentioned it, I was going through my filtered Facebook messages because like whoever, like in Messenger, you have like a thing of filter, like I'll go
that was a
to,
thing.
and I didn't realize it was a thing. So I'm looking through them, and I have like old filter messages from like 2011 and earlier.
Yeah.
But the funny part is like all of them are from people from our college who have since blocked me. So they're all from Facebook user, and they're all these like generic spam messages that were just like filtered out that I never got. But now I don't even know who sent them. Oh no, Lewis sent most of them. He signed it.
I think Jacob does kind of break through the noise and, again, the partisan sort of rhetoric, and I think he does that every day.
Be a beacon for the rest of the nation, built on hope, built on inclusivity, built on opportunity. And I'm here to tell you right now that we set the bar too low. We don't simply need to defend Minneapolis against Donald Trump. We can join hands, we can face the world together and declare once and for all that Minneapolis is the place of inclusivity. Minneapolis is the place of opportunity. Minneapolis is a place of compassionate people where every single person deserves an affordable place to stay in a safe and thriving neighborhood. Every single person deserves the opportunity to work hard, to have a creative idea, to become an entrepreneur, to start a business, and to build a brilliant life. In Minneapolis, we don't just deal with our homeless problem, we fuck up and we give people a home!
So similarities to Trudeau. We have, they look like they could be long lost brothers. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see Jacob Frey in some kind of like traditional Somalian garb eventually. Like,
Oh, totally. He's definitely on that track. Now, he plays the game better than Trudeau because he's like following in Trudeau's footsteps. So I
Yes.
feel like it's kind of like a second edition. So it's much more clean and polished. But like he's so like perfect and polished that like
Yes.
there's no way that you read it as genuine. Like I don't, at least. I mean, well, we're showing you lots of clips of it, and it's like
yeah. And
nobody's this wholesome. Like nobody's like this.
Come along with me. Folks are already enjoying this space. Hey, Alan. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Jacob.
Now this is the infamous bench over here where you can sit, you can read a book, you can make out with your partner. Nice, sturdy, beautiful materials. Now we wanted to provide a little bit of undulation. We didn't want just a flat, boring space. We wanted some activity. We wanted kids to be able to roll down the hill. A little bit of fun. Now as you can see, everything is well lit. We didn't want this space to be dark, dull, and unsafe. We wanted some light to shine down on it on all parts of the day and the night.
he's very disingenuous seeming. I'm not going to accuse him of anything.
Perfect spot to sunbathe, hang out, throw out a towel, put on some shades and some suntan lotion and have an absolute ball. Take a big panoramic view. Welcome to the Commons.
So for context, the way that the like immigrants coming into Canada and how Trudeau feels about them and just conducts himself regarding that, the parallel here is going to be the Somalian community. We have quite a lot of Somalian immigrants. Second Somali population only to Somalia. It's like they even have their own police force here. So.
You know, not many of them are very nice people, but you know, you have the classic issues that come with assimilation.
Like, I got assaulted by a random Somali man in the middle of a bar in 2013.
Well, that's just an anecdote, and you're a racist.
If only.
Yeah, if only, right? If only it's just an anecdote.
But
or if only you're a racist.
I mean, the reason they have their own police force is because there were so many instances of like Somali men being just really egregious to women and just kind of like they didn't feel it was fair for them to be policed under the same rules per se, and so they assigned separate Somali police force that spoke their language so there wouldn't be any misunderstandings and can kind of mitigate any problems arising from the different cultures, because the one thing about the Somalians that immigrated here is they tend to be extremely, extremely religious, and they have, not all of them obviously, but many of them have no desire whatsoever to assimilate to our culture. They come here and are kind of attempting to make it their own thing. So that has caused some clashes with the residents of our city that already live here and do not want Sharia law dictating.
Yeah, and he wants to give them their own mall.
Yes.
It's just bizarre.
And you asked him. We still don't know the reason.
I asked him.
Behind.
I sent him a message. I asked him, like, can you explain what exactly you mean by, like, you're gonna give Somalians a mall? Like, how does that even?
He's extremely popular with the Somalians. Yeah, they had a Jewish Islam, sorry.
Yeah.
Jewish Islamic, like, alliance coalition thing will pop up in the Facebook post here.
Yeah, the Caravan, CAIR, which I know I've heard of that organization before. I don't remember what context it was.
But yeah.
Anyway,
Frey is Jewish.
Are we going there?
And there are several things that we're looking to do that would help to uplift the Somali community. First, we need to recognize that while there's a lot of talk around a $15 minimum wage, $15 is still not a life. We're looking for not just economic development, but economic empowerment. So we're allowing Somali entrepreneurs to run with a great idea and then ultimately lead a brilliant life. We're looking at city contracts to make sure that they are inclusive of the Somali community. And yes, we're also talking about a Somali-owned and run mall. You know, we don't just want Somalis to have the opportunity to set up shop in an existing one. We also want them to have the opportunity to have ownership and then ultimately determine their own destiny. And we can do that. We absolutely can do that if we're working together.
Did I show you the post on his Facebook of some random woman just like being really like thirsty over his curly hair, and it's just like amongst all of his like normal posts? Like similar to Trudeau in the fact that he, you know, like is young, attractive looking, and so he has like that charismatic kind of feel going for him where he's very, very polished, very...
And people like read into him what they want in an ideal mayor. So they're just like, oh, he's so like perfect and in the community, and he's gonna change things and turn everything around, and he's so engaged, and like he's so like non-partisan.
The president wanted to come to the Super Bowl. What would your thoughts be?
I mean, look, I'm no fan of President Trump.
If you're very left-minded, you probably like a lot of the substance of some of his policies, but if you're someone who's more conservative, especially economically, you know, you're holding your nose at literally every single thing he proposes.
He's very anti-police, very much so. Like,
yeah, says he doesn't want to micromanage them, but I mean...
Do you think the Minneapolis Police Department has a problem with shooting citizens unjustly?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got an issue. It has happened, and we need very specific reforms that are in place to prevent that.
What are your ideal reforms?
There are some obvious ones. You know, I believe that officers should have to exhaust all reasonable alternatives before they resort to deadly force.
How else would you interpret that?
he regularly posts things along the same lines you read, like Black Lives Matter members posting about police brutality and violence, and he started a investigation, or
yeah, he started up like a new investigation to look into like the police
just the
racial
entire
bias and everything.
the entire
and
police force.
It's a virtue signal. It's an empty virtue signal, because like all of these shootings, like none of them are really these like smoking gun magic bullet racism cases that they need to be for this narrative to make sense. And like the thing is too is it's not like you just have like one incident and then say, oh, like Mike Brown, therefore we need Black Lives. It's like you need it to be epidemic, right? So there should be a lot of examples that are really good.
The city just released its 2040 comprehensive plan.
Yeah! That deserves a round of applause.
So for those of us, the few of us who have not read it apparently, What are some of the things that you want to see happen in Minneapolis by 2040, presumably around the time that President Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is finishing his second
That's
term?
right. I'm a big supporter of The Rock Johnson, by the way, only if the vice president is Tom Hanks, but I'm there anyway.
Yeah. So what are some of the main things outlined in that?
Yeah, so this
plan?
is a big vision for where ultimately we want to be as a city by 2040. You know, do we want like homogenous, segregated neighborhoods, or do we want neighborhoods where you've got 1,000 different ideas and backgrounds at the table? You know, do you want public transportation where you don't have to own a car, or do we want all of us just with our single-family homes and the white picket fence in the suburbs? That's what we're pitching. I agree. You know.
Okay. Hates fences,
yeah. You know, no, we're and so this is about, you know, we want affordable housing in every area of the city. We don't just want it in North Minneapolis. Yes, we want it there, but we also want it in Southwest Minneapolis. We want it in downtown. We want it in Northeast. We want housing so that people who are experiencing homelessness have that next rung on the ladder to pull themselves out. And we want a vision for what a real awesome city can be. And that's what this comp plan is about, comprehensive plan. You know, it's the cool lingo.
Yeah. I was like, wow, someone's cool in my presence.
I am.
I feel that also ties into his economic policies with his housing things, because he's getting the Somalis on his side, and I mean, you know the housing situation better than I can.
Well, yeah, and the whole thing with that is basically, he talked about how the zoning laws are set up to basically accommodate mostly single-family households, and that doesn't really represent the family structures that are predominant in Minnesota, really across the nation, but in Minnesota, of course, we're focusing on that, obviously. And basically wants to change the zoning to accommodate more like single-bedroom and like quadruplexes and things like that, and he also wants it to be more spread out among all of like Minnesota, and it's really such a top-down economic restructuring of things. It's very non-organic, and I think that's kind of the recurring theme, is he wants to really artificially create this unity, but like the implicit in his policies is all this like chaos.
You know, they might have voted for Bernie Sanders and they voted for Barack Obama, but as soon as you start proposing any affordable housing anywhere in the vicinity of where they live, they freak the shit out. And that's what we need to push back on right now. We need to allow additional housing options throughout the city. And yeah. And, you know, yes, that means growth. Yes, that means some form of density. Yes, that means an alternative that includes single-family homes. It includes duplexes. It includes fourplexes.
Gasp.
Gasp. I know, my God. You know, and this is kind of like the new way of thinking, because it's a new way of thinking about things. Because the goal, like the American dream, is no longer the white picket fence out in Edina where every horse owns a horse and you have a 45-minute commute into work. Like, that is not the vision anymore. And what this is about is kind of creating the next step here, and we got to take it.
Like these housing they don't have the intended.
Or just giving Somalians a mall, like the other chaos. And Minnesota is kind of weird in that the Minneapolis-St. Paul area where we live is like where the state capital is. It's kind of, there aren't a lot of other cities this big, and so it's kind of strange because a lot of Minnesota and a lot of the Midwest in general is just kind of like small town USA. And it just feels like social engineering a little bit.
Well, and I think naturally we're getting a lot of like, it's almost like not that's the wrong, I'm in Eurovision thinking, but we get refugees from like Chicago and Detroit.
Yeah,
because like we're kind of like the next big city in the Midwest.
Milwaukee, and
Milwaukee.
The opioid crisis, which to Frey's credit, he actually has addressed and did a huge event talking about Narcan and like the administration of it. And so the opioid crisis is a huge issue here, and you can see the effects in a lot of our neighboring big cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, and that comes into play a lot. Narcan is such a no-brainer issue. Yeah.
But like, I think most politicians, they're just not knowledgeable enough to even think that through. But literally, you have a drug that like all it does is prevent people from dying from overdoses. That's like literally the point of that drug. Is like
Narcan, if you don't
use
know,
for it. Like if you want it to be illegal, like literally all you want is like people to not have access and they can save their lives.
Narcan is basically like an EpiPen for opioid overdoses. Not all opioids. I used to be a junkie. I am 6 years clean from heroin addiction, so I actually did a lot of volunteer work at a needle exchange and witnessed the implementation of Narcan being more widely available, and it's definitely great that he's addressing it. But the current state of affairs of Minneapolis and the Midwest in general is definitely, you know, very colored by the opioid crisis here. The parallels between him and Trudeau are startling, and it seems like Trudeau is kind of, you know, a figure that he wants to follow in the footsteps of. Like, that's the impression I get.
Yeah, well, and I wonder, there's probably that element, right, of like he's an individual making his own decisions and going through that like thing.
Of course.
But then there's also the more like structural elements of like in order to be a politician, like he's kind of following a really like a checklist of stuff that makes sense. Kind
He's
of
a
across
lawyer,
the board, right?
and the way he assesses and decides what to do in every single situation, it seems very lawyer-esque. Like, it seems like he has a very clear image in his mind of how he can look the best to the largest amount of people, and he does that thing, which a lot of the times comes off very disingenuous and a little cringy, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's... I mean, I guess we can give him the weed point. Give him the weed point.
We'll give him the weed
Give
point.
him that. I had one more thought. I forgot what it was. Oh, yeah, and then I wonder if maybe, like, people like Justin Trudeau and Jacob Frey, they're kind of just a mirror to what, like, the cookie-cut, mainstream, digestible...
perspective,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, like the real, like, status quo warriors.
Yeah,
like the real basic shit. It's just real basic bitch politics.
It's very hard to watch Frey, I mean Trudeau as well, but Frey talk to, like, his, you know, subjects, us, the voting public of Minnesota, and not just feel like he's jumping through hoops he needs to jump through and just trying to, you know...
It seems like he's never kissing a baby. Every single baby he's kissing is numbered and he knows how many he needs to kiss.
Yes. Yes. And he damn sure knows what the diversity makeup of the group of babies in the background should be to get the most sympathy and get him the most diversity points.
He goes maximum virtue points, and it's impressive, honestly.
It is.
It really is impressive.
He's a professional virtue signaler. Like, and I mean, who are we to criticize? It's clearly gotten him far enough in politics, but the things that he seems to want to implement, they just don't make any sense.
They don't make any sense. It's like basic bitch cookie cutter liberal shit, and then when it's not that, it's just a big pile of just like what looks like just empty, disingenuous virtue signaling. But, you know, we'll let you be the judge of that. We've given you some clips to look at, some images. Let us know what you think. It'll be really interesting.
He's not from here, and it kind of shows in the things he's been proposing, just the general culture of the Twin Cities. He doesn't seem to have a very good grasp on it, and as a result, the things that he's proposing are a little, you know, overzealous.
It really just seems like he wanted to be mayor of something.
Yes. Yeah.
And he looked at the map of the U.S.
That's exactly what
and
it
he
seems
looked
like.
at, he planned it out, and like Minnesota's a really, really smart choice for the kind of politics he wants to do.
Yes.
Somalis, we love our Muslims, oh that's so good, oh that's so sweet.
kinda young. You're not from Minnesota. And we think your Superman curl is fake. You said the word onion, talking about the fans from Philly. We liked the old name for that lake. Fans, Jacob fans, reaching out, consensually touching you. I'm Jacob Frey. No, it's not pronounced like Frey. Sarah's my bride. I know you probably thought I'm gay, but I'm not. I'm 36, and that's not really so young. I know I don't act the way I should. Melvin's my friend. We got a Twin Cities bromance. He's taking good care of our neighborhood. I'm wearing shorts, biker shorts. Don't you want to see my... Thank you, Minrose! We'll see you